5 seconds. Start. In the last 2 or 3 months, there have been various offers of assistance from friendly foreign countries for the economic development of this country. Last month, the government of the United States offered a loan from out of the currently available resources of the United States Export Import Bank and the President's Development Loan Fund. An official mission from this country is now negotiating details of the utilization of this offer. The United States government are also considering as a matter of high priority further measures to assist us in getting over the present shortage of food grains. The measure of assistance promised by the United States is expected to help us significantly in financing our imports of essential capital goods over the next 15 months. The question of obtaining a postponement of certain payments which will fall due in the next 3 years or so in respect of the Rourkela steel plant has been under discussion with the West German government. The deferring of these payments has been agreed to in principle by that government and the details are now the subject of negotiation with the authorities in that country. On the 4th February 1958, an agreement was signed with Japan under which Japan would make available to India a sum of rupees 24 crores through the Export Import Bank of Japan to enable government or parties recommended by government to make purchases from Japan. This line of credit will be used for the purchase of Japanese goods including mostly industrial plant, machinery and equipment. The loans will be repaid within a period of 10 years and the rate of interest will be decided on the basis of rate charged by the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The government of the USSR also offered us a credit of about rupees 60 crores to be used in the form of technical assistance and equipment. This will be used for the setting up of a heavy machine building plant, a plant for the manufacture of coal mining machinery, an optical glass factory and a thermal power station, and for the development of the Korba coal fields. This credit carries interest at the rate of 2% per annum and is repayable in 12 equal annual installments. We have recently signed an agreement with the government of France for economic and technical cooperation between the two countries. Under it, the French government will facilitate the financing of the manufacture and supply of capital goods for which orders are placed by Indian purchasers with French suppliers in the 12 months following the date of signing of the agreement. The terms of each contract would be settled separately with the approval of both the governments. The total economic assistance made available to this country by friendly foreign countries up to the end of March 1957 amounted to rupees 463 crores, out of which rupees 219 crores had been utilized by that date. During 1957-58, Canada has authorized $21 million as assistance to this country under the Colombo Plan. In addition, Canada has made a special grant for the purchase of wheat. She has also agreed to supply an additional quantity of 4 lakh tons of wheat on reasonable terms of credit to meet the food storage. The Ford Foundation has continued its assistance by a further allocation of $6 million under the various programs of assistance already in operation or in sight. The total foreign assistance to this country in the coming year is estimated at rupees 325 crores, for which credit has been taken in the budget. This assistance would materially help in the implementation of the second 5-year plan, and I am sure the House would join me in expressing our appreciation to our friends who have come to our assistance. India, on her part, has continued to provide economic and technical assistance to neighboring countries, particularly under the Colombo Plan. The budget for the current year, as finally approved by Parliament, placed the revenue at rupees 708 crores and expenditure at rupees 672 crores. In recent weeks, there has been a slight improvement, and it is hoped that collections will increase steadily in the future. The intensification and development of the small savings movement have been under the constant consideration of government in consultation with the state governments, who have now a predominant interest in the net proceeds from this source. The House will remember that as part of the program for attracting larger investments, the rate of interest on postal saving banks was raised, and the yield on the 12-year saving banks, national plan saving certificates, and treasury saving certificates was increased. The increase in the yield has had a good